The Texas Department of Transportation Houston District would like to welcome you to this virtual public meeting with 3 in-person options. My name is Karen Othon, and I am part of the study team working on this study. I will be providing you with information on the State Highway 225 and Interstate 610 East Planning and Environmental Linkages Study, also known as the State Highway 225 and I-610 East PEL Study. This is a pre-recorded presentation. During the virtual presentation, you may pause the video and navigate forward or backward using your video player. If you experience technical difficulties with the virtual public meeting, please call Tanisha Smith at 713-802-5560. You may also request special accommodation assistance accessing public meeting information and materials and language interpretation needs other than English and Spanish. If you wish to submit a comment to be part of the official record of this public meeting, you may do so in the ways outlined at the end of this presentation. The virtual public meeting is being held in conjunction with in-person options. There are 3 different opportunities to attend the public meeting in person. The first in-person meeting will be held on Thursday, October 20th, 2022, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Our Lady Star of the Sea Catholic Church, located at 1401 Fidelity Street in Houston. The second in-person meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 25th, 2022, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Deer Park First Baptist Church, located at 438 East 8th Street in Deer Park. The last in-person meeting will be held on Thursday, October 27th, 2022, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Pueblo's Royal Christian School, located at 1600 Pasadena Boulevard in Pasadena. The information presented in the virtual public meeting and the 3 in-person public meetings is identical, and the opportunities to comment or complete the online survey are the same. The purpose of the first public meeting is to engage the public in the State Highway 225 and I-610 East PEL study to help guide decision-making related to the PEL, learn about the benefits of a PEL study, review existing conditions of the study area, evaluate data and information collected by the PEL study team, and comment on the goals and strategies for the State Highway 225 and I-610 East PEL study based on the information provided during this presentation. The purpose of a Planning and Environmental Linkages study, or a PEL study for short, is to provide a high-level approach to transportation planning and decision-making. This approach benefits the public by providing efficient and cost-effective solutions to fast-track transportation improvements. Study participants include stakeholders, agencies, and the public. To learn more about the PEL process, please watch the What is a PEL Study video located on the State Highway 225 and I-610 East PEL Study homepage at www.TxDOT.gov and using the keyword search SH 225 and I-610 East PEL. As provided for by 23 Code of Federal Regulations 450.212, 23 Code of Federal Regulations 450.318, and Appendix A to 23 Code of Federal Regulations Part 450, the results or decisions of this Planning and Environmental Linkages study may be incorporated into or used as part of the review of one or more projects under the National Environmental Policy Act, which will be carried out by TxDOT pursuant to 23 United States Code 327 and a Memorandum of Understanding dated December 9th, 2019, and executed by the Federal Highway Administration and TxDOT. A PEL study is not the same as a proposed TxDOT construction project. However, the findings of a PEL study may identify the need for future projects in the area being studied. This PEL study is not intended to focus on a specific project and does not have construction funding identified. It is also not intended to determine any final roadway alignments, nor evaluate new right-of-way that may be needed, nor evaluate the need for noise walls in the area being studied. It is also not intended to identify drainage needs, nor ready a specific project for near future construction. A TxDOT PEL study versus a proposed TxDOT construction project can be compared to many things in our everyday lives. For example, a PEL study is like planning for a backyard garden. During the early planning stages, you may identify different areas of your yard that may be good options for planting your garden. You may also make a large list of all the different types of vegetables that your friends and family would most likely eat. At this stage, you are identifying options and planning, just like a PEL study. A proposed TxDOT construction project is like building and planting your garden based on your earlier planning work. You would choose a specific place in your yard, determine how much space you would need, and then narrow down what you will plant based on the larger list that you developed when you were planning the garden. Next, you would do all the work to plant your garden and then enjoy the benefits of fresh vegetables. TxDOT is currently conducting a PEL study in Harris County of 2 roadways with specific beginning and ending points, referred to as the study limits. The State Highway 225 portion is approximately 14 miles long and includes the existing State Highway 225 corridor, beginning slightly west of the I-610 East interchange and ending at State Highway 146. The I-610 East portion is approximately 7.5 miles long and begins south of I-45 at Telephone Road, proceeds north over the Ship Channel Bridge, and ends at Gellhorn Drive. There are 2 extensions of the study area: the Washburn Tunnel, located between I-610 East and Beltway 8 on the north side of State Highway 225, and Barber's Cut Boulevard, south of the State Highway 146 and State Highway 225 interchange. The study area includes 7 unique cities and supports significant industry in the area, including numerous petrochemical facilities and Port Houston container terminals. State Highway 225 also serves as the gateway to the historically significant San Jacinto Battleground via Independence Parkway. There are 4 primary factors for why this corridor was chosen for a PEL study: safety, design, mobility, and community. Ensuring that all factors are evaluated with a focus on equity is key to the success of this PEL. Safety is a top priority for TxDOT, which means identifying improvements to reduce crashes and fatalities is a crucial component of the PEL. Between 2017 and 2021, more than 200 serious crashes occurred within this corridor, resulting in 33 fatalities. Design means the standards and specifications that TxDOT uses to ensure the highest safety and operational efficiency of its roadways. Due to the age of State Highway 225 and I-610 East, certain roadway components do not meet current minimum design standards. Mobility means enhancing the ability to freely move people and goods within the study area. Both State Highway 225 and I-610 East are hurricane evacuation routes that must be designed and operated to provide a safe and effective option for evacuating people from the Gulf Coast region. Both facilities are also part of federal and state freight networks and are critical to the transportation of goods throughout the United States. The community that makes up the PEL study area is a tapestry of diverse people, established neighborhoods, places of worship, schools, parks, and major employers. Identifying the transportation needs of the community through robust outreach and communication is key to enhancing safety, design, and mobility through this PEL study. As part of evaluating safety, the study team analyzed the number and types of crashes within the study area. This slide shows a heat map that illustrates crashes that occurred from 2017 to 2021. Red represents areas with high crashes, and green represents areas with low crashes. The 2021 statewide average crash rate for urban highways is 227 per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. There are 2 locations on State Highway 225 that are above the statewide average. One is from Allen Genoa Road to Red Bluff Road, where the crash rate is 236, slightly higher than the statewide average. The second location is from Red Bluff Road to Beltway 8, where the crash rate is 280, or about 23% above the statewide average. The 2021 statewide average crash rate for urban interstates is 159 per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. There are 2 areas along I-610 East that are above the statewide average. The first location is between State Highway 225 and I-45, where the crash rate is 322, 2 times higher than the statewide average. The second location runs from I-45 to Telephone Road, where the crash rate is 188, about 18% higher than the statewide average. The PEL study team obtained historic crash data from 2017 to 2021 to analyze crash and safety concerns within the study area. There were a total of 7,958 crashes reported during this time period, with 4,062 crashes reported along State Highway 225 and 3,896 reported along I-610 East. Of the total reported crashes, 70% occurred on the main lanes of State Highway 225 and I-610 East, with the remaining 30% occurring along the frontage roads. 15% of total crashes involved commercial vehicles. There were 28 crashes that involved pedestrians or bicyclists. One approach to enhancing safety is to ensure roadways meet the most up-to-date design standards. The age of a roadway and the timeline of its construction often influence many critical design features, such as vertical clearances and right-of-way widths. The first portion of State Highway 225 near I-610 East was completed in 1966. Over the span of 30-plus years, construction continued moving east along the roadway and was eventually completed in the year 2000 at its current terminus with State Highway 146. Over this 30-plus year period, roadway design standards changed to adapt to evolving transportation needs, resulting in a variety of vertical clearances and differing right-of-way widths. I-610 East was constructed in the early to mid-1970s, including the construction of the Sidney Sherman Bridge over the Houston Ship Channel. The Sidney Sherman Bridge opened in March 1973 with a vertical clearance of approximately 135 feet. Modern-day ships require a much higher vertical bridge clearance, like the Fred Hartman Bridge and the Sam Houston Tollway Bridge, both of which have vertical clearances of 175 feet. The low vertical clearance of the Sidney Sherman Bridge has been a contributing factor to several costly and disruptive ship-bridge collisions. In addition to the insufficient vertical clearance, there are other key design and maintenance issues that require further evaluation, including traffic guardrails that do not meet current standards for large trucks and frequent inspection and maintenance to monitor for corrosion. Another key transportation design feature within the PEL study area is the Washburn Tunnel, operated by the Harris County Toll Road Authority. The tunnel is the State Highway 225 connection point to Shaver Street, Ritchie Street, and Red Bluff Road. It is also used as an alternate route from I-610 East to connect to refineries and neighborhoods on the north side of the Sidney Sherman Bridge. The tunnel opened in 1950 and has been on the National Register of Historic Places since 2008. The tunnel is a two-lane roadway that goes beneath the Houston Ship Channel. The top of the tunnel is 45 feet below the waterline and limits how deep the Houston Ship Channel can be dredged in this area. In addition to vertical clearances, there are other design features that need to be considered, such as right-of-way. When right-of-way is constrained by things like existing buildings or utilities, this may influence the design of future roadway improvements. One example of constrained right-of-way is a section of State Highway 225 between Shaver Street and Randall Street. This area has a right-of-way width of approximately 200 feet, with no separation between the freeway and the frontage road. Less than 15 feet of space exists between the roadway and adjacent buildings. Another example along State Highway 225 is east of Miller Cutoff Road. This section is constrained due to the location of the railroad and utilities, such as high-voltage transmission towers. Right-of-way constraints also exist along I-610 East. Although the right-of-way widths vary, the location of refineries, Port Houston, and other significant infrastructure may impact future roadway improvements. Mobility is another factor that will be evaluated during this PEL study. Houston TrainStar data from 2021 was used to summarize the travel times along State Highway 225. Average free-flow travel time, both east and west, is 13 minutes. Along State Highway 225, the most significant difference in travel times occurs westbound during the morning peak. During this period, the amount of time it takes a typical vehicle to travel from State Highway 146 to I-610 East more than doubles from 13 minutes to 30 minutes. Currently, there are no direct connectors at the Beltway 8 and the State Highway 225 interchange, which could be contributing to increased peak hour travel times. However, TxDOT is working with the Harris County Toll Road Authority to construct direct connectors that would reduce delays during peak hour travel and enhance mobility and safety. On I-610 East from Telephone Road to Gellhorn Drive, the average free-flow traffic time is 5 minutes. The most significant delays occur during the evening peak hours, both north and southbound on I-610 East. During this time period, the travel time almost doubles to 9 minutes for the average vehicle. In addition to the vehicular travel patterns within the study area, the study team will consider other transportation improvements to incorporate, such as managed lanes, truck-only lanes, transit, and ride-sharing. Current and projected traffic volumes at specific locations along the corridor are represented by the white circles. The volume of vehicles traveling through a specific area in 2021 is shown in light blue or at the bottom of each circle, and the volume of vehicles predicted to travel in the year 2045 is shown in dark blue, the number at the top of each circle. According to the TxDOT statewide planning map, the future annual average daily traffic is predicted to grow by approximately 40% in both the I-610 East and State Highway 225 corridors. State Highway 225 and I-610 East are linked to many strategic Texas supply chains, such as manufacturing, petrochemical, and Port Houston container terminals. Both roadways are part of state and federal designated freight networks and are critical to the timely movement of freight. Commercial vehicle volume on I-610 East ranges between 8 and 9% of total traffic volumes. The percentage is higher on State Highway 225, ranging between 16 and 21% of total traffic volumes. Identifying and analyzing commercial vehicle issues, needs, challenges, opportunities, and strategies for moving goods along State Highway 225 and I-610 East will be a key component of this PEL study. Safety, design, and mobility are all important components of the PEL study. However, understanding the unique transportation needs of the surrounding community is equally important. There are 7 cities adjacent to and within the study area, including Houston, Jacinto City, Galena Park, Pasadena, Deer Park, LaPorte, and Morgan's Point. Community organizations in the study area include the Pleasantville Area Super Neighborhood Council, number 57, and the Clinton Park Tri-Community Super Neighborhood, number 59. Feedback from the community is vital to identifying appropriate goals and strategies that will lead to the development of a corridor vision that will shape future transportation projects. The community within the study area consists of a highly diverse population, with 87% of the population identified as a minority, according to the Federal Highway Administration Order 6640.23a. This order defines a minority as a person who is Black, having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa, Hispanic, of Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Central or South American, or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race, Asian American, having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, or the Pacific Islands, or American Indian and Alaska Native, having origins in any of the original people of North America, and who maintains cultural identification through tribal affiliation or community recognition. The largest minority group within the study area is Hispanic, making up 77% of the population. Black or African American make up the next largest minority group at 8%, followed by Asian populations at 1%. The remaining minority population consists of people that are some other race or mixture of races other than white. Individuals who do not speak English as their primary language and who have a limited ability to read, speak, write, or understand English may be considered limited English proficient, or LEP. Data from the 2020 U.S. Census indicates that approximately 30% of the population, partially or wholly contained in the study area, speaks English less than very well and may qualify as LEP. The predominant language spoken within the study area by LEP individuals is Spanish. TxDOT and the PEL study team have translated study materials to Spanish and will work closely with the local community to ensure all residents are given multiple opportunities to participate in the State Highway 225 and I-610 East PEL study. During the PEL study process, the study team will identify and document environmental constraints observed in the corridor's study limits. These constraints will be illustrated on a map and will include cultural resources such as historic buildings, archaeological sites, community resources such as parks, churches and schools, water crossings, land uses, and the presence of utilities and hazardous material sites. These constraints influence the PEL study outcome with an emphasis on avoiding and minimizing adverse impacts to environmental resources. Constraints maps are available for download and viewing on the PEL study website. To view or download the maps, go to www.txdot.gov and type in the keyword SH225 and I-610 East PEL. Now that you've had a chance to review the information related to the PEL study, it is time to provide comments and stay engaged. Staying informed on the PEL study is easy. You may visit the PEL study webpage by going to www.txdot.gov and typing SH225 and I-610 East PEL in the search box. Once on the PEL study webpage, you may sign up for the mailing list to stay up to date and informed on the PEL study. Review study materials such as the fact sheet and constraints maps, read about past meetings that you may have missed, or watch the video, What is a PEL Study?, to learn more about the PEL process. Input gathered from the public involvement events like this public meeting, the online survey, and from agencies and stakeholders will help guide the development of a purpose and need statement that will describe the transportation-related issues in the study area that will be evaluated during the PEL study process. Next, the study team will develop potential improvements, referred to as alternatives. With input from stakeholders and the public, along with further engineering analysis and screening, preferred alternatives will be identified and presented at public meeting number 2. The final step in the PEL study process is the development and publication of a PEL study findings that summarizes the findings, recommendations, public involvement activities, and ultimate outcome of the State Highway 225 and I-610 East PEL study. The PEL study team anticipates completing the PEL study and publishing the PEL study findings by mid to late 2023. The PEL study welcomes and needs your written comments. Please let us know what is important to you. For example, do you have a broad vision for the PEL study corridor? Or do you have specific ideas about areas that can be improved, like a particular intersection that experiences a lot of congestion? Or do you see the need for more sidewalks and bike paths? Or would you like it if commercial trucks had their own dedicated lane to use? There is no limit to what you may comment on related to this PEL study. Your comments will be used to inform TxDOT about the needs of the corridor. All comments will be taken into consideration by TxDOT and the PEL study team, but they will not receive a formal written response from TxDOT. Comments must be received or postmarked by Monday, November 14th, 2022 to be included in the documentation of public meeting. You have several options for submitting written comments. You may print out the comment form located on the PEL study website by visiting www.txdot.gov and using the search function keyword SH225 and I-610 East PEL. Then submit it by standard mail to the TxDOT Houston District. Attention, Director of Project Development, P.O. Box 1386, Houston, Texas 77251-1386, or submit the printed comment form as an attachment via email to hou-pio-webmail@txdot.gov. TxDOT is conducting an online survey related to the PEL study. This survey gives you an opportunity to provide interactive input on the study goals and strategies that will then be used to develop a foundation for a purpose and need statement. To participate in this survey, go to www.txdot.gov and search for SH225 and I-610 East PEL. The online survey will be available throughout the comment period, so be sure to take the survey by Monday, November 14th, 2022. The results of the online survey and a summary of written comments will be included in the documentation of public meeting, which will be posted on the PEL Study website within the next few months. That concludes this public meeting. Thank you for participating, and please remember these key items about this PEL study. This PEL study will set a vision for State Highway 225 and I-610 East and guide future transportation improvement projects. It streamlines the planning process by minimizing duplication of effort and reducing delays in project implementation. The PEL study process encourages open and frequent public and stakeholder feedback. The information gathered and analysis conducted during the PEL study, including preliminary review of environmental impacts associated with alternatives, will be used to inform future projects that result from the study's recommendations, as the recommendations move into the next phase of project development. Additionally, the data collected and purpose and need documented during the PEL study would be further refined and tailored to any specific project resultant of this PEL study's findings.